In 2.5 hours, we leave for our journey to Kentucky. I have 4 things on my list to do before we leave. I'm going to get a fuel filter, just in case. I'm going to get coffee and donuts. And I'm calling the insurance company just to make sure we're good for our trip home. And I hope that takes 2.5 hours, because I'm not good at waiting. So I'm at the parts store. I'm going to run in here in a second and get the part. I want to explain to you kind of the process of getting this fuel filter. The person who's selling me the bus wasn't actually by the bus yesterday, so he couldn't help me with the part number, the type of fuel filter that the bus needed. So I called a international parts warehouse that's in Kansas City, and they were so helpful. They gave me a number. We then in turn called the local parts store and had them work with us to get a part that's similar, like that would equal that part number, the international number. So I'm going to run in today. It was supposed to be delivered last night. I'm going to run in today and see if I can get it. And then hopefully we're going to have our fingers crossed that it works. Okay, I just got back to the car. They had it. It came in. I always worry that something happened and it wouldn't be delivered, but it was here. So the first task of the day is done. We got the fuel filter. Hopefully it fits. And now we're off to get some drinks and donut. So I got everything done that I needed to do this morning. I even called the insurance company to make sure that we're all good on the insurance for our trip home. And now in 30 minutes we will be heading out, going to tonight we're going to stay in Kentucky. We're driving to Kentucky, and early in the morning we're meeting the guy who's selling me the bus, and we will get back on the road. We're meeting him at 8. Hopefully by 8:30 we'll be on the road. So we have a long day of travel ahead of us. 30 minutes we're gonna leave. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited I can't sit around and wait. So anyway, I will be taking you with me on the journey. Let's go. We drove all day and made it to our destination that night. We saw beautiful farmland and hills. The next day, we got up to go to the location where the bus was. We were escorted to the back where the bus was waiting for us. We got in, tried to start it, and it started. So apparently, all buses must smell exactly the same. I got on this bus all the way in Kentucky, and it smelled exactly like the bus I rode as a kid. It sounded the same. The windows even rattled the same. I rode bus number 1. My siblings and I were the last ones on in the morning, and the last ones off in the evening. So we spent hours on that bus every week. This bus felt exactly the same. It was kind of amazing, actually. We took lots of time to look it over. The guy who sold me the bus took the time to show us all the buttons, how they worked. We checked all the fluids. We checked the tires. We checked lots of things. Tom spent lots of time checking everything over because I kind of left it up to him. He's the expert. And we concluded that although we found several things that I'm probably going to change or fix at least, it was reliable enough to get us home. So we did one last check of the lights, and we started our journey back home. I don't know if I'm nervous or excited. Now I don't know. I can't tell. So I wanted to give you a little update. We are just east of Paducah, and the bus started to overheat. So we pulled over at a gas station, and we had a wonderful gentleman stop to kind of help us out. We were troubleshooting already, but here, let me show you what's going on. We made it back. We're safe and sound. I need to apologize to you guys and tell you that I'm going to do better. I'm the type of person who really just wants to live in the moment and not have to stop I just want to live it. I'm not used to stopping and recording and taking videos and taking pictures. I will get better at that. So I apologize. I did not take a lot of videos yesterday. And I should have. There was plenty of material I could have been recording, but I didn't. And I'm going to get better about that. So I apologize. We are back. We got back last night at about 11:30. And I slept in a little bit this morning because for the past couple of days I got no sleep because I was a ball of nerves. But last night I slept really good. I slept in this morning. And I want to tell you about our journey yesterday. The last time you saw us, I'm drinking my coffee. The last time you saw us, we were at a little gas station right outside of Paducah. You saw us broken down. Now, that little breakdown could have been so much worse. It turned out the best that it possibly could, and I'll tell you why. So, we were just coming into Paducah, and coolant started to leak out, started to overheat, and there happened to be an exit right there. We didn't have to drive 5 miles. It was right there. So, we got off on the exit, and there was a little gas station right up the little hill. So we went to it, and there was a perfect spot in the back. In fact, there was like a semi-trailer parked back there already. So Tom just parked right next to it, and we had plenty of space to work. There was nobody milling around. We weren't like in the middle of people. It was perfect. So he determined that it was probably a hole in one of the hoses. I think he had determined that at the beginning because the coolant had just kind of, he said what happened was coolant went everywhere and the fan sprayed it everywhere. So there was water everywhere. So Gayleen and I went into the little gas station, and they didn't have any like gallon jugs of water for us to buy. All they had was like drinking bottle size, water bottle size. So we bought the biggest ones they had. We bought like 4 or 5 to see if we could fill, or if at least we could fill it up enough to see where it was leaking. We couldn't. It was because all the water had already come out. Anyway, we would have had to fill those little water bottles up like 20, 30 times. But thankfully, they were generous enough in the gas station to let us continue to fill those little bottles up with the water from the sink in the bathroom. We didn't have to rebuy them. So her and I came back outside, and we saw somebody helping Tom in the bus. It turns out that he was a diesel mechanic. And from here on out, we're going to call him the Good Samaritan. I think he was kind of like a guardian angel, but he was definitely a Good Samaritan. So together they found pretty quickly where the hole was in the hose. So because he was from the area, he went and got new hoses, and he actually got some coolant as well. This fact is important, and you'll see why. He brought back 3 hoses, and I didn't realize this. At the time, Tom was like, oh gosh, we don't need three hoses, we just need the one. He's like, no, just take it. Okay. So they got it fixed pretty quickly, and then when the guy went to leave, we were there for probably an hour or an hour and 15 minutes, not that long. When he went to leave, he refused to take money. Like, none. He did not want money. And it was strange. I mean, you bought us stuff. You stopped. And you took time out of your day to help us. And I realized that this was part of the story I was telling you about. This is part of it. This is one of the people and one of the parts of the stories that I wanted. Anyway, so he was the Good Samaritan for the day. And it was amazing to find such generosity and just kindness, because he stayed until the project was finished, and he helped, and it was amazing. It was amazing. He was just so gentlemanly. He kept calling us ma'am. It was just nice. And then we were about, I don't know, 4 hours from home, 3.5, 4 hours from home. And the bus started leaking coolant and overheating again. And again, this could have turned out so much worse. Right where it started to overheat, there was a little gravel road. So we pulled off on this gravel road, Tom did. And on this gravel road, we saw up ahead there was a little creek. So we thought, okay, we have these water bottles and now we have big jugs because he bought coolant, the big coolant jugs. So we have these jugs. Now we're going to go down there, get some water. We'll figure it out. So we walked out to the little creek and it was just weeds. It was bone dry. Okay, so we go back to the bus and we had actually just stopped for gas, probably 8 miles back. So Galen and I got in the truck, went back to the little place where we had gotten gas, and we found actually a little grocery store this time. We went in, we bought gallon jugs of water. We bought 10 of them and then 2 big jugs of coolant as well, because we wanted to have plenty for this, because we were, out in the middle of nowhere at this point. So we brought back the water. Tom found the hole in the hose right away. It was actually along the same hose, but a different portion of it. So it was in kind of the same area. And thankfully, we had those 3 hoses that the Good Samaritan left for us. So, it all works. It just worked. It was just perfect. So we were at that spot for probably an hour and a half again. And most of that time was me and Galen traveling back to go get the water and coming back. Got it all fixed up. And by this time, it was still light. It was probably, I want to say 6:30 or 7 o'clock, that second breakdown. Maybe a little later, because the sun was just kind of starting to go down. And it just could have been so much worse. This could have happened in the dark and we wouldn't have been able to see it. And then we finished driving home and it was perfect. And I don't know, the day was magical. It was just magical. And I lost sleep over yes, we had breakdowns twice, but it worked out just so well. And we met this gentleman and it just worked. It just worked. And I just loved every minute of it. I didn't eat anything yesterday because I was just a ball of nerves. So I'm hungry today. But we're home and the bus is here and I'm just excited. I'm tired but excited. So today is Saturday. I'm going to get my stuff together today and tomorrow and go to the store and get stuff for our first projects. And I will be working on the bus, or hopefully working on the bus on Monday. I know I want to get my little workstation set up, but on Monday, I get to start on the bus. So we made it back. We're back with the bus. And that's it. Here it goes.